Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again, on Turbo. If you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed yet, it will be amazing if you could take the time to do so. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy it. Again, if we get to 250, we will give away a Philly Sports Network t-shirt. Today's video will feel like you're being spun around very quickly, only because I have to get it out before tonight's Sixers stream. I mean, for those that don't know, over the last weekend, we've had 2 watch-alongs, 2 Twitch streams, 2 YouTube videos. It's time to bulk order Monster Energy off Amazon, that's all I'm saying. But we're going to start off with the Philadelphia Eagles, and what is normally obviously a light-hearted show this week does have to start with a more serious tone, because Eagles head coach Doug Pederson has indeed contracted the coronavirus. And we're not talking like contracted to do work on his house. I mean, he actually has coronavirus. I mean, now that in itself is scary. Like, Doug Pederson, obviously 53 years old. He's probably going to be more prone to some of the more serious side effects of it. But as we know right now, he has no symptoms. He's tested positive, but doesn't have any symptoms. He'll be self-isolating away from his family, so on his own, away from the Novacare complex, away from the team and players, right in the heart of training camp, which is obviously less than ideal. But the main thing here is that A, Doug Pederson is okay, and B, Doug Pederson is okay. Like, that is all that matters at a time like this. It, of course, comes just a few days after Lane Johnson, Nate Gary, and Jordan Mailata were all confirmed to have the virus and were placed on the COVID-19 list. So, it's not been a good week for the Eagles. And when you've suddenly got 5 people, because Press Taylor also has it, suddenly out of action in the space of a few days, it does bring into question whether or not the Eagles should even bother resuming training camp. Why not suspend it, go back to doing virtual? It's a really tough argument, because you know they're already working against the clock, they're already behind, but Marquise Goodwin right now is going to be feeling such a strange array of emotions after opting out of the season, then seeing this, obviously concerned for his teammates and his coaches, but it's so weird, like it's such an odd time to be in. The good news is though that Doug Pederson does believe he can run most of the training camp from home. Now I don't think they're going to get a big monitor and stick it in the middle of the practice field and have Doug go, Carson, go on, that's it lad, fast, yeah? Good boy, well in. He's able to hold team meetings via Zoom or Microsoft services, and obviously connect with his players virtually as well as his coaching staff, so he's done that today. And the man fronting training camp will be Eagles assistant head coach Duce Staley, which is fantastic for the team because it's a familiar face. You're already working against unfamiliarity, new styles, new coaches, new methods, and you don't have Doug Pederson to do it his way. I can see where someone like Rich Scangarello or Marty Morningweg may not be the best man for the job, whereas Duce Staley has been around the organisation for years, he's played for the team, he's worked for the team for so long, and so many have expected Staley to go on and get a coordinator gig or a head coaching gig somewhere else. That hasn't happened yet due to some various reasons, but I feel like with this on his resume to go and say, I've led a training camp as the head coach, it's going to look very good, and with the new NFL rules implemented, I can't see them keeping him very long. But I do think, though, this is going to be a fantastic opportunity of growth for him, for the running back room, and for the rest of the team. Like, if we really are going to try and take silver linings from this, I think the fact that Doug Pederson has the virus is only going to send a very, very firm tone to the rest of the team. Like, they've lost Lane Johnson, Nate Gary, Mailata, Pederson, Taylor, all to this virus in terms of training camp availability. And it's so hyper aware, it's so ingrained in their brain right now that they have to follow protocols, they have to sanitize, they have to wash their hands, they can't be out past curfew, which I believe is 11 PM. They're on like 12-hour work days at the minute down at the Novacare. Some players are staying at a hotel, other players are staying at home with their families, so not violating curfew is important, but I feel like the players will be so hyper aware of what's going on that they won't be pulling a Lou Williams and going to a strip club or whatever the hell the Miami Marlins do. On that note, Jason Avant will be joining the team's coaching staff and helping the wide receivers as part of an NFL initiative. So it'll be interesting to see someone that, of course, made his pay dirt in Philadelphia that will go down as one of the best Eagles wideouts of a generation. See what impact he can have on those younger wide receivers, especially in an off-season like this where veteran presences are so minimal. But on to the Philadelphia Union. They thrust themselves, not like that, alright? Into the semi-final, or semi-final, of the MLS's back tournament after a big-time win over the New England Revolution. They'll face the Portland Timbers on Wednesday. We'll have a watch-along right here on the Philly Sports Network YouTube channel. And talking of watch-alongs, we're of course going to have a Sixers watch-along tonight. We'll have a Phillies one later this week. We'll have a Flyers one when they play as well. We're giving you guys all the live streams in the world. If you do enjoy them, do let us know. Come say hello, hang out with us, watch the game. It's like watching the game with some friends, having a beer. We obviously can't do that right now, so it's the next best thing, and we'd love to bring this community together. Talking of the Sixers, though, they lost to the Pacers and allowed TJ Warren to score. Let me check my notes a minute here. 53 points. 53 points. Wasn't a good day at the office. Al Horford looked questionable at best. There was a spat between Embiid and Milton, and it was sort of like for fans going, don't worry, they do that all the time. That's going to help them out. That's going to fix their relationship. And you know, behind closed doors, everyone's a little bit scared. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, of course, they played tonight against the San Antonio Spurs, looking to rebound. Fingers crossed they'll be able to do so. But again, you'll be able to catch the game right here on Philly Sports Network. Philadelphia Flyers started their round robin with a big-time win over the Boston Bruins. 4-1 the final score, and it was a great game. It was a really great game. We had the watch-along here on the chat. Have I mentioned we do watch-alongs yet? Carter Hart was absolutely sensational. 34 saves out of 35. And it felt like as the game went on, as more pressure came his way. I mean, towards the end of the game, all right, the Boston Bruins pulled their goalie and just sent the kitchen sink. Just threw the kitchen sink at Carter Hart. He came alive in the lights. And for a 21-year-old that was so good at home, but had a questionable road record, to be playing on neutral ice without fans, where it's a little bit weird, he adapted very well. I mean, at 21 years old, I couldn't even imagine being on that kind of platform. The guy has got ice in his veins. He's colder than the rink he plays on, and you truly just love to see it. We'll be back in action against the Washington Capitals, and believe it or not, there's something that rhymes with botchathon happening right here. So tune in. And the Phillies, their season resumes today against the New York Yankees after the Miami Marlins did their best to sabotage the entire thing by a total neglect for coronavirus and a bland sense of ignorance that has gone unpunished. Now, bitterness out of the way, I'm happy that the Phillies are back and that the exposure to the virus was minimal, but we can only hope that it stays that way and that the MLB is making the right decision by not playing in a bubble. I think the NFL should absolutely follow suit of the MLS, of the NBA, of the NHL, of playing inside a bubble. I don't care where, I don't care how, I don't care when, but you don't want to be using commercial travel at a time like this, especially when teams and players are already contracting the virus when essentially in a training camp bubble, alright? It's not good. That is it, guys, for a very sped up This Week in Philadelphia Sports. Thank you for tuning in. There will be more content coming this week. Thank you for all of your support on this channel. It really does mean a lot to us at a time like this. We adore you. We'll see you tonight for the Sixers watch along. Take care.